Today is a very special program because we're going to do an interview, and it's with Sheryl Bybee, who makes fairy houses, beautiful little fairy houses. And so we'll get into that interview in just a moment. Before we do that, I want to, of course, invite you to, if you liked the video today, please say so. And if you do like it, maybe you'll want to subscribe, and you can do that. And make sure you press that one button, that the bell button, so that whenever my videos come up, you'll be able to see them. And also, if you want to communicate with me, you can down below, or you can reach me at onepetitestreet@gmail.com. So let's get into this very interesting subject of fairy houses. So I'm here with Sheryl Bybee, right?
That's right.
And she does fairy houses. And they're miniature fairy houses, or I wondered about them being miniature since fairies are small, but I don't know whether they're...
Well, I guess some people put them in their yards and they make them out of actual big tree trunks.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, I guess mine are, I think miniature is fine.
Miniature.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you get started in making fairy houses?
Well, I started making other small things like ornaments, and even then I started branching out, if you will, and making shelves. I even made a handrail for our house. It's like out of I think it's about a 14-foot long piece of cedar. That took a while, but I really like doing creative things. And I guess one day I was at, it was either Hobby Lobby or Target, and I saw that they had fake plastic fairy houses that were made to look like they were made out of chunks of wood.
Right.
And I just thought, well, I could do that out of actual chunks of wood instead of doing them out of plastic. So I went home and started making them.
Okay, wow. And how long have you been doing it?
Oh, just a couple of years.
Couple of years.
I guess my first time was, yeah, probably about, it was either 22 or 23. There was also a festival in Cleburne that they were calling the Fairy Festival. So that's also what really kicked me into gear to start making more. So I made several and took them to that.
Oh, okay. Where do you get your materials?
From my yard.
Right.
A lot of all the real wood pieces are from my yard, and I just see a piece, I think it looks really neat, and so I'll set it aside. My husband does do a lot of that because he'll go out and find an old dead tree on our property. We have about 14, 15 acres, and then his mom has about 100 acres, so he'll find an oak tree that's dead or has already fallen over or something,
Right.
you know, chop up firewood, and sometimes I go steal things out of that. And sometimes I go out and find my own pieces. My mother-in-law bought me my own chainsaw a couple of Christmases ago. So yeah, I have fun with that. But other than that, I've gone through all my dad's little funky drawers of weird knobs and pieces in his workshop. My mom had a lot of flowers and greenery that I've used in some of them. And then pretty obviously I also go to Michael's and Hobby Lobby.
Right. So those are the sources of your material. Okay. What do you do with the fairy houses?
Well, they're really just for display. But I basically have been selling most of them. I don't really have the space to keep any of them, so I end up selling all of them. We have a farmer's market in Glenrose, and we take them there. I take other things too, garden products that I make herb salts and pepper sauce and different things like that. And we'll go to the farmer's market and set it up. And then my mother-in-law and my aunt-in-law, we like to go to craft shows too and set up and sell things.
And so that's basically the outlet that you have for the things that you make. All right, maybe we could look at a couple of these and get an idea of the inspiration in that from them. So, I see,
You want? We could just look at this one if you want to, start on one end.
yeah.
This was just a neat piece because it bent. This
Right.
this primary wood piece, at first it almost looked like legs running or something like that, but it was all cut off. And so I like finding things that look like they have that little Y shape in the middle, so that I can put another piece there pretty easily to make a little landing. Most of mine are actually more in this style where they have a couple of landings to go set their fairies on or whatever.
And I know I was gonna talk to you about, because the ones I saw didn't have any fairies, but you do have fairies that go on your.
Well, and I don't make them to go with specific houses, except for I do have a couple of halflings, if you will, that I made to go with my shires. I have a couple. I've built a couple of shires, and I have a couple of little guys that went with that, and I built a couple of wizards over time that went with that. Oh, and I did build one that I've already sold too, that was Wizard of Oz, and I made specific Wizard of Oz characters. But most of the time I just make random fairies, and then sometimes people just want the house by itself, and then sometimes people just want a fairy, and then every now and then I get people that want both. You know?
Yes, yeah. Okay.
And I do a lot, when I do the fairies, sometimes I do them like these that you have out, that we have set out here where they're kind of posed. But I also have some that I made specific Wizard of Oz characters. But most of the time I just make random fairies, and then sometimes people just want the house by itself, and then sometimes people just want a fairy, and then every now and then I get people that want both. You know?
Yes, yeah. Okay.
And I do a lot, when I do the fairies, sometimes I do them like these that you have out, that we have set out here where they're kind of posed. But I also have some that don't sit on anything, and they don't hold anything, where you could make them like climb on the ladders or sit on the swings and bend their little arms around to hold on to stuff. So those are kind of popular.
All right.
But initially I didn't even make fairies. It was just because people kept asking me, where are the fairies when I sold the houses. So
which was my
eventually I was like,
question.
okay, I'll try to figure out a way to make some fairies.
And I see you use a lot of acorns in making your fairies.
Yeah, another source of inspiration is Pinterest. And I got on there and I'd seen somebody that made acorn people, and they were 100% all natural products. And I started trying to do that, but I really liked using bright colors and being able to pose them in different ways. So then I went to using the wire. It's usually like the covered wire that they use for plants. Yeah.
Plant arrangements, yeah.
And I do try to make all my houses where you could turn them around. They still look good. Like this one, see, it has two little rooms at the top. There's one little bedroom. They have to climb up on the rope ladder to get to that one. And then there's another one over here that there's a stairway going up the side.
And I see there's something printed there.
I always try to put little inspirational messages around. This one on the inside says, what seems like the ordinary is often the extraordinary.
Oh, wow.
And then on the front it says, life itself is the most wonderful fairy tale. So I just find these little
sayings.
Little doodads. And a lot of those are things that are supposed to go on bracelets.
Yeah.
And I've repurposed them for this.
Okay. Well.
And then this one, I love finding hollow logs. Okay, that's my favorite thing, is when I can find an actual piece of iron.
So
had this extra space. So I just finally decided to make it a little layer for my
For the dragon.
for my dragon.
All right. These are beautiful. And when it comes to making miniatures, just using the imagination is so important. Okay.
As a kid, I loved that book series where
Oh.
it would, do you know that? Where it was like these little, I don't know what they were, gnomes or fairies or what they were, but they lived under the house, and when you would lose a sock, it would be because they took it and it's their bedspread.
Oh.
You know, or anything that you lost, they would use it as something. A thimble would be their kitchen sink or whatever. So I try to use things that look like they're found items, and every now and then I'll put little things like this one has a little real looking table and chairs from the dollhouse. But I also don't stick with the whole 1:12 ratio like most dollhouses do.
No, well, those would be wait a minute, 1/24.
Yeah, they're even smaller, aren't they? Yeah.
I mean, they're still in that, I would say in that scale, 1/24. And they have them down to 1/48.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I guess most of my scale would be the 1/24, about that size, but I don't really stick to it, as I figure, like, the fairies don't care.
Yeah, right.
And they're magical, and they can figure it out, and it'll all work out, so.
Okay. Speaking of materials.
Oh, I'll put the broom on top of there.
That's okay. I'll drop that down there. That's all right. This is amateur night anyway. I have a box of materials as a thank you for coming.
What?
Yeah, you can check it. It's
Ooh, that's
it's
exciting.
Just stuff that's stuff that I don't know whether you'll be able to use it or not.
No, but you know how it is when you're doing this. You start seeing things with different eyes, and you look at it through a whole different lens, and it's really exciting when you get a box of stuff. That's so cute. Look at the little animals and birds and cups. This little baby bed, that's cute.
Yeah, no, I didn't make that one, but it came in a set.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
I don't know whether the fairies do any woodworking.
Oh,
there's some things.
Yeah, they definitely need to help sometimes. They can't just leave it all up to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And they need firewood and things like that, so they'll definitely
right.
need that saw. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like, it could be like a little brick or something.
Yeah,
I love finding things like using shelves for sinks and
there's some sea, what is it called, sea glass in there.
sea glass. Wow.
And there's a little.
Oh, is this the chair?
That's the chair I
Wow.
made.
Oh my gosh, that's cute. Yeah, because I like making the little kings and queens like I did over there. That'd be super cute.
Right here, I made that.
What? How'd you make that?
Polymer clay. Yeah.
That's adorable.
yeah. So maybe you can.
That's so cute. I did an Alice in Wonderland theme one time, and that was cute. I had a little picture with plates and stuff. Isn't that cute? That's amazing. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Thank you.
We weren't expecting to have a couple fairies
Well,
hang out together.
yeah, this I made for Jim and Joanne. That's Jim and Joanne there. He's got his magic tricks, and she's reading a book. I got her flowers too.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. And I thank you so much for coming and sharing at 1 Petite Street. That's where you're at in the world of YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the world of make-believe.
Well,
World of miniatures. That too.
Yeah, 1 Petite Street.
Yeah.
That's where we
That's a
abide.
great name. I love it.
Okay, well, I thank you. Well, I hope you enjoyed exploring one of the kinds of miniatures that are made, which is the little fairy houses. And we received this little gift. It has a little acorn fairy that represents me, and one that represents my wife there, one reading a book, and the other I used to do a little bit of magic, so I have some cards in my hand. And we want to thank Sheryl for that. And we just kind of urge you, if you're interested in, to, she mostly sells at the little farmers markets and that, and but I will have her information down below. And just, it's a fascinating part of miniatures we don't usually think of. And in closing though, I want to just encourage everyone to treat one another with love. People don't have to agree with you for you to love them. Certainly you don't want to hurt people just because they disagree with your ideas. That's just not the way we do it. So with that, take care of yourself and take care of those around you. And we'll see you next time.